Regardless of who you choose to help you get there, make sure you have somebody. It makes things so much easier. Section 8 inspections take 1 hour to complete. And that dog owns Section 8, chilling on a Wednesday. Hey, Luca, how many Section 8 property you own, ho? Yeah, I think he's got about 3. But we're helping him get some more creative finance deals because he's got some limited funds. Exactly. Why single family over multifamily? Main reason being is I like the liquidity of single family. Meaning if I go out and I buy 10 properties, single family, independently, and I want to peel off 3 of them and sell them for, let's say, $250,000 for all 3, I can easily do that. If you buy a 10-unit apartment complex, you can't just sell 3 or 4 units. And those 3 properties that are single family are going to probably have a much higher chance of appreciation because you own all the dirt below it. You have a lot more demand for single family. I've had small multifamily. I've had mid-size multifamily, 12 units. And I've seen how long those apartments, 2 and 3 bedroom apartments, languish on online. Because think about it. Who the fuck wants to live in a Section 8 apartment? You're basically creating the projects. Not many people want to live like that. So that's why I prefer that. We're on the verge of a correction in property taxes. Would you sell if you're in the middle of these? Would you suggest increasing rents? Increase rents for Section 8 every single time. Colleen, your husband, you just bought 3. He bought the course in software. Colleen, thank you so much for the feedback. I appreciate it. Please DM me on Instagram. We'd love to get some more information about that success. But thank you for sharing. Are all investors open to a buyout? If not, how do you do that? You just don't invest with them if they don't want to buy out. Super simple. Now the Patels are going to own 75% of all Section 8 housing. There are a lot of Indians that buy Section 8 already. I'm working right now with 4 different Indian fellows that have one of them have been in hotels. His name, I can't say his name, but he was in hotels. Not you watching the same live as Matt Cutshall. I do not know who Matt Cutshall is, but I'm excited. Colleen, you have as many properties as my dog. Hey, how many properties you got, Luca? Go get it. How many properties can you buy with 10K? Probably about 1.5. Is the Indian guy's last name Patel? No, this one is particularly not named Patel. I am working with some Patels, but the guy that I was talking about that's buying Section 8 now that owned hotels, his last name was not Patel. I would say top 5 ethnicities that I work with as far as Section 8. Number 1 is definitely Indian. We have a lot of Indian people in the course and the coaching. I would then say probably Western European, just general as far as geographically. It's not really an ethnicity, but we got a lot of people from Europe buying properties in the U.S. And then followed by the Mexicanos. We got a lot of Mexicans. I'm actually going to go to Mexico City this year, at some point this year, because I got a lot of people in Mexico City. And I think I've never been to Mexico City, and it's close. Patel own a lot of hotels and motels. Yeah, I know. This one did not have the Patel last name. I think he's kind of jealous about it. James, you got $60,000. What to do? I'm actually going to be talking about how to deploy cash if you have more than $15,000 in cash, how to deploy it in tonight's webinar, 8 p.m. Eastern. The link is down there at the bottom. Same thing for you, Callie. Guys, if you guys have $15, $20, $50, $100,000 and you want to learn how to deploy that the most efficiently, instead of me telling you guys all individually, just go jump in the webinar tonight. You'll get a lot of value about it. It's not... It'll definitely be worth your time. And it's only about 45 minutes of content, straight up Section 8 content. Matt's bringing 50,000. James has got 60,000. See, this is also what we do in the course and coaching a lot. We put people together like this. Now you guys have $110,000 combined, which means that you really have about $500,000 in buying power, depending on how you finance these properties, maybe more. And now we're going to be starting to cook with gas. That's the move right there. Canela, I've been doing good. Emilio, have I been at Ventura Mall? Yes, I was just there last week, 2 weeks ago, at Restoration Hardware, looking at some furniture for my new place. Why is your coaching pricey? It's not. It's really not. $5,000 for coaching in a course to teach you how to buy millions of dollars worth of real estate assets. It's really not. And it's worth it. I mean, you buy one property and you cash flow, you'll make your money back in the first year. So it just depends on what you see as value. Matt Cutshaw. Is it hard being wealthy? It can be sometimes, you know what I mean? Just depends on the situation. Can't make the webinar, but need your input. EDMC, DM me on Instagram. I respond to my own DMs, guys. You're thinking about Section 8 in your primary home. Do you think it's a good idea to do that, even though I just don't have the reserves for repair, just in case something happens? Where are you going to live? Yeah, so the course also includes additional help from me. How do you negotiate a lower price on a house? Depends on the property, depends on the location, depends on how long it's been on the market, depends on what the seller wants. Sometimes you don't want to lower the price of the actual property. Sometimes you just want a big closing credit at closing. Because think about it. Let's say that you get the property is $100,000 and you negotiate them down to $90,000. You're financing it over 30 years. That $10,000 amortized over 30 years is literally peanuts and worth nothing to you in the immediate, short term. But if you take that same $100,000 house and you ask them for a $10,000 credit, the net result is the same, but the table. You're not bringing maybe $2,000 less to the table if it was, being financed over on 80% loan to value. So, yesterday I was suspended for TikTok for a week. I told somebody they looked like they came off the short bus, and then TikTok suspended me. Pretty amazing. It's worth it for sure. I'm very involved and attentive. Thank you. I appreciate that. Zena, it's a great price. People charge way more for courses. Thank you, guys. I appreciate all the people that have taken the course in here. You want a yacht? I highly recommend getting a yacht. Matter of fact, we're going to go on the yacht. Hold on. Let me call up Captain Chris. I can't. I'm on my phone. I don't think my other phone has his number on there. What makes you buy a property when you've never seen them in person? Guys, it's 2023. Why do you need to see a property in person to go buy it? Why? You're not seeing me in person right now, are you? And you're probably going to take my advice. You're listening to me. You're spending your life on a live watching my face and mouth move from thousands of miles away potentially. Doesn't matter. You guys are constantly buying shit sight unseen on e-commerce sites that you've never seen before in your life, and yet here you are buying it. Why does it matter? Guys, there's FaceTime, there's home inspectors, there's real estate agents, there's property managers, there's a million people that can go do this fucking awful job of having to go look at individual properties. Why does it matter if buying out of state is a thing? It doesn't. I'm going to send you all deals to you sight unseen. I don't care. Because guess what? My agent will go look at it. My property manager will go look at it. Have I ever tried Amazon FBA? No, I actively enjoy making money without any stress. That's my main thing. Yes, the link is down there at the bottom. What the fuck? I swear to God, this computer is pissing me off. Let me be your agent in Michigan. I'm not buying there right now. Agents can work on contingencies. There you go. Now you guys are seeing it. Who is requesting me? What state would be good to start in? Guys, I talk about locations and cities today on the webinar. I'm just not going to keep going over and over and over and over. Have you ever taken a flight to go look at the properties? No, I haven't. Feel like a majority of Americans have a major control problem. I would say that's true. I would say a lot of the people that I work with are so like butthurt and worried about going and buying properties that are out of state. But it's so funny. This is actually really interesting. So I have this guy. What's his name? Doesn't fucking matter. I have this guy. He lives in the UK, in London to be specific, and he's already bought 4 properties in the US. My man doesn't even have a visa. My man doesn't even have citizenship, doesn't have a green card, doesn't have anything. He's bought 4 Section 8 rental properties with creative financing in the US. Never seen the property. Ever. He's never even been on American soil. So if our London bloke friends across the pond are buying properties, what's y'all excuse? Correct. Yeah. Caleb, yes, the link is down there at the bottom. You're going to snag 20 units? Fuck yeah, Caleb. Love to see that, man. Curious as to why you want to address that question. Section 8 versus multifamily. I've already addressed that question twice. And it's not Section 8 versus multifamily. It's single family versus multifamily. You can Section 8 either one. How is it possible to saturate a market where the demand far outweighs strips of supply? Exactly. If you guys want to check the demand of an area, call up the housing authority in that county and ask them how long it's going to take you to get a free free housing voucher. They're going to tell you 2 or 3 years minimum. That's going to show you how much demand there is for housing in that market. Because people are always worried about like, oh my God. Correct. It's just to clarify, I heard you mention it, but you can Section 8 on multifamily deals. Yeah, of course you can. I lost about $30,000 in my worst loss. I bought properties that I didn't do proper due diligence on and really ended up shitting the bed on it. Correct. You can check local housing websites. A lot of them will say wait list closed. That's true too. Some of these, there's so much demand in some of these markets for Section 8 properties that they just shut the whole waiting list down altogether. How's the weather in Florida? Oh my God. The weather here is ridiculous. Hold on 1 second. Do all your homes build equity even though they're cheaper homes? Guys, you realize every single month my tenants pay my mortgage for me, right? And then on top of that, hey, you stay out there, little fucker. I can't have you jumping out, turning into a little rug at the bottom of Brickell Street. You don't need any credit to buy the course or the coaching. We're not using banks for the most part in buying a lot of these. We're using creative financing. How much is the rent here? The rent here is a little over $20,000 per month. Why is it loud? Because it's windy right now. And the airport is right there. Correct. Difference between Section 8 and Burr method. One makes a shitload of money. The other one is slow, non-scalable, and probably will lose you money. That's the main difference. I'm not actively adding more states right now. I'm happy with the 4 states that I'm investing in currently. Brickell feels like a permanent vacation. It really does. Amazing food down here. Correct. If you have the means, I highly recommend moving to Miami. I've been to over 20 countries and I've yet to find a city as cool as this. What are your 4 states? I talk about that in the webinar tonight. Down there at the bottom, TomCruise.com. Looking forward to having you guys all there. It's going to be great. We're going to make a shitload of money together. If I move out of my primary home to Section 8 without reserves for repairs and move into a manufacturer's house, any advice? It may make sense for you to do a cash out refi so you have some equity in the property. Don't pull out all the equity. How do you deal with snow removal? Tenants deal with snow removal. I don't do any of that nonsense. If the tenants don't want to get out of their driveway, sounds like a them problem. They need to do that. Yes, wholesaling is definitely still a viable means. I am not co-investing at this time, no. You love Aventura and you love it. Or you live in Aventura and love it. Yeah, Aventura is pretty fun too. We've been there a few times. How do you appreciate properties with rent? Guys, if you have a property with $0 in income, vacant property, and then you put somebody in there that's paying $1,500 guaranteed every single month through Section 8, you're now making, what, $16,000 a year in gross rents? What's worth more? A property that's making $0 per month or a property that's making $1,500 per month? I'll wait. Correct. I have co-invested in the past with students. Correct. Probably about a year ago. How do you pay for damages if there's issues with HVAC or plumbing? We don't pay for capital expense. There's a lot of ways around paying for CapEx. Would $50,000 get you many Section 8 properties? Yeah, every bit of 8 or 9 properties. What's your favorite nightclub in Miami? I like Live. I think Live is fun. They always play good music. They always got rappers hanging out there. It's a good time. What's my exit strategy? Part of the issue is I see that your houses are worth half after 10 years. No. That's not remotely true as far as depreciation on the properties. Majority of the properties that even I bought last year are around the same value, if not a little bit higher. They're not rapidly appreciating, but at the same time, it doesn't fucking matter because every single month when I get that $1,300 or $1,400 rent check, I'm still paying down that debt. The tenants are paying down the debt and building equity for me. So even if the properties stay the same exact price for the next 10, 20, 30 years, I won't owe anything on it. You understand that? I owe nothing on that property because the tenants are paying it down over the next 10 or 15 years. People don't understand. This is something that's also really important that most people don't understand at all. Let me try to break this down as simple as possible. Let's say you buy a property for $60,000. You put $10,000 down. You financed it for $50,000, right? $50,000. Let's keep it simple. Let's say your payment is $300 a month on that property, right? And let's say your rent is $1,000. Nice even numbers. So let's say that you, after maintenance, taxes, everything comes in. You owe $300 for principal and interest, and then another extra couple $100 for maintenance, reserves, whatever you want. So your total monthly debt on that property is $500. That leaves you with $500 a month in net cash flow. That $500 is free and clear for you to go do whatever your little heart desires with. You follow me? But that's what everyone only considers as the cash flow. But y'all are still forgetting that little $300 that goes towards every single property. Part of that is paying down principal. It's not a lot. Let's say $100. $100 out of that $300 is going to principal. $200 is being wasted away on interest. So you're reducing on that one property minimum $1,200 per year in principal pay down, assuming you don't pay an extra dollar past that. And let's say you do that over 50 properties or 100 properties. Do you see how fast that equity appreciation occurs and that debt pay down occurs? Do you also see how fast that cash flow appreciates or how fast that cash flow accumulates? That's why reaching scale and buying multiple properties, it becomes an insane compounding effect that most people can't handle. Because after 2 or 3 years, and you look back and you're like, wait, I bought all these properties for $200K, I owed $150 on it, and now I only owe $110 on it. Holy shit. I have $100,000 in equity and I'm still making $4,000 a month in free cash flow. Explaining creative financing. Basically when you buy a property directly from a homeowner and you don't use a bank. That's creative financing in a nutshell. Can't wait for tonight's webinar. Allie, looking forward to having you there. Guys, links in the bio, TomCruise.com. Free Section 8 webinar tonight at 8 p.m. I'm going to talk about the best markets to buy in. I'm going to talk about what my buy box is, what I'm buying in. I'm going to be talking about how to buy properties without credit and with low down payments. How often do people call you a slumlord? Just no one in real life, first of all. Mostly just the trolls that we have on TikTok and Instagram. I find that it's always the people with no assets that call me the slumlord the most. And I love it. I almost named my boat Slumlord. Correct. I will eventually sell to a hedge fund, or I might sell properties off individually. The webinar tonight is 8 p.m. Eastern Time. First steps to start. I'm going to talk about that as far as how to choose the best cities. That's the first step, is choosing the best city for Section 8. Some are a lot more compliant. Not compliant. Some are a lot more conducive to Section 8. You and your girl are doing it together. Awesome. Kina, looking forward to having you on the webinar tonight. Do you ever reflect or reminisce on times when you were trying to figure things out? All the time. That's a great question. I'm a boogeyman. I was at the furniture store last week. That's probably the last time I really sat down there and like actually reminisce about it. I was at the furniture store, and we were going through different furniture for my new house, and I sat down at the dining room table that I really want to get. And that dining room table cost more than the 4 years that I had at University of North Carolina at Wilmington in tuition. And I was like, this is fucking insane. And then just kind of thinking back about, buying my first property, getting my first tenants, getting my first partner, starting to scale, thinking about my first refinance, thinking about wholesaling, thinking about grinding, thinking about all the delayed gratification that got me to the point where I can get a dining room table that costs more than my entire college tuition was kind of pretty crazy to think about. But yes, that's a great question. I do think about the come up all the time. Tom should create a course on how to obtain his vocabulary. It's just the result of research. I do research all the time on different things. And I guess that as a byproduct, I picked up some SAT words in my day. How much do you think a hedge fund would pay for 1,000 properties? Like even at $200 million, it's not worth it. What? My properties are worth nowhere near $200 million. And if anyone ever bought them at $200 million, it would 100% be worth it. How much is the new Miami crib? The new Miami crib will be a nipple under $20 million. Thoughts on Spofford doings? There's no thoughts on that. Correct. By the time you're 50, how many units do I expect to have? By the time I'm 50, I don't know. That's in like 15 years. I have no idea. Completely depends on if someone offers me a buyout first. Do you accept checks or money orders from tenants? No. Debit or credit cards only. So I make sure I got everyone's questions caught up with. Do I ever go back to North Carolina? Yes, I'll be going back here shortly. Just to visit friends. $200 million for... Yes, obviously I would sell it for that. Are me and Rachel still together? We haven't been together for almost a year now. Y'all need to get more on lives. Is $35K enough to get a quick 10 house portfolio? Probably closer to 7 properties. 10 units is a stretch. 7 properties, yeah. Why debit and credit only? Because I'm not trying to collect a cashier's check. I'm not trying to go to the bank and go deposit that shit. I don't want my property managers having to waste their time doing that piddly stuff. Single is the best way to go, especially when you're building. I would agree with that. All right, guys, I'm gonna jump off.